Do you want to one-shot a Chaos Warrior? Do you want to be a really well-rounded, awesome character that's best friends with Barton? Well, now you can. Let me show you. Mercenary Kruber. This guy is so useful. I think he might be one of the most played characters in this game. Like every time I play a mission, there's a Mercenary Kruber because he's just that useful. So let's talk about it. His passive ability is called Paced Strikes. Hitting 3 enemies in one swing grants 10% increased attack speed for 6 seconds. Pretty nice. Morale boost, your career skill. Marcus grants nearby allies 25% temporary health, and he staggers nearby enemies. This is very nice, you know, really on any difficulty mission. If people are low on health and there's no healing around and a big horde comes, you're like, oh crap. Normally you'd be like, oh crap, what do we do? Oh my god. Now, right before they get there, Mercenary Kruber can just use his career skill. You know, everybody gets some extra health. The whole, well, not the whole horde, but the immediate enemies around Kruber get staggered. It's just useful. It's useful survivability. And then he's also got hitting the sweet spot. Attacks cleave through more enemies. No more laughing now. Increased critical chance by 5%. Pretty good. I like this. So, for this, what I like to use is the Executioner's Sword, and I'll talk about it more later. But the Executioner's Sword is the best weapon of Kruber's by far. It's the best. So for his THP talent, I like to use Mercenary's Pride. Melee killing blows restore temporary health based off the health of enemy slain. This one's really good, although this one's good too. Just depends like what you want to do, right? So I like this one because I play a lot of legend missions, and you know you're going to be able to kill Chaos Warriors pretty easily with this build. So you're going to get a lot of temp health, which is why I like this. But if you want to use this, I'd recommend the Halberd, or I guess you could even do it with this, but I mean, I think this makes more sense for the Executioner's Sword. Don't use this. And then the next talents are, like, here's the thing about Mercenary Kruber. He's probably got the most, like, of all these, you know, talents here, he's probably got the most combinations that are really good, you know. Like so for this one, I use More the Merrier. Increases power by 5% for every nearby enemy, stacks up to 5 times. So just when there's a big horde around you, you can have 25% increased power. I think that's really nice for just mowing down hordes, and you know, if there's an elite that jumps in there, you can just headshot him, he'll be dead instantly. I love it. Another one that's pretty good is Limb Splitter here. It's kind of a unique talent. It increases cleave power by 50%. And he's already got increased cleave just naturally. I wish I knew how much this was. It doesn't say, but I've used this one many times. If you're going for that pace strike build, honestly, I'd probably recommend this one more. If you don't really care so much about pace strikes and you just care about like killing things, like if you do this, you'll still get pace strikes like all the time, pretty much all the time. But if there's like some armored guys, you might not get it some other time. But this, you'll be able to kind of cut your way through more enemies. This also goes good with enhanced training down here, but I'll talk about that later. And then you have Helborg's Tutelage. Every 5 hits grants guaranteed critical strike. They no longer occur randomly. I actually use this kind of talent on my Zealot sometimes. It's good because it's good with like dual weapons or something that swings really fast. I wouldn't use it with a Executioner Sword because it's just slow, and you guys already got a bunch of crit chance, so you really don't need this, but this kind of talent's good for like faster weapons because you can just take crit chance off and you can put something else in. So it's kind of nice, but not really good for this kind of build. And then you've got your choices down here. I like Smiter, Mercenary Kruber. He's a Chaos Warrior killer. He's a Horde clearer. I think Smiter's the way to go because it just staggers everybody. And when you stagger everybody, you're gonna do more damage. I mean, it's really nice. Enhanced power. I mean, I don't really ever use this. You might do a little more damage with this than with Smiter. And if you don't care about, staggering enemies, I guess that's no problem. I mean, like I said, I prefer Smiter. Mainstay I would never use with this guy. Just because, high damage characters like this guy, they don't really need to worry about like stagger bonuses and all that kind of crap. They just need to be able to not get hit, So you're gonna do a bunch of damage. I mean, unless you don't get a headshot on a common horde enemy with the side swipe, I mean, you're probably gonna kill him, with this. I think this is the one. And then you've got Reichland Reaper. Increases power by 15% when Pace Strikes is active. So one of the things I love about Mercenary Kruber is he gets all these like power buffs. He gets like 25% power here, 15% power there. And I could see wanting to add 7% onto that, but I don't need that. That's why I don't use it, because you've already got this and you've got this. I mean, you've got so much extra damage going on here. And, this is really good when there's a horde. You get your Pace Strikes, you get your attack speed, you get more power. You've got extra power here. And when these two are going, you don't even need to crit a Chaos Warrior on Legend. You just need to get a headshot, and he'll be dead. One shot. I love it. Then you have Enhanced Training. I was talking about this one a little bit earlier. Pace Strikes attack speed increased by 20%, but now you have to hit 4 targets instead of 3. So this one's a little more high risk, high reward, right? It's good, but if you're gonna do it, unless you're super confident your executioner sword skills, I would go with Limb Splitter up here, because that just lets you hit more enemies, cleave through more people. It's gonna make getting this a lot easier. And your other option here is Strike Together. This is also pretty good. Like I said, Mercenary Kruber has a lot of good talents. Pace Strike spreads to nearby allies. So, if you've got an elf with a glaive and you've got some people with some big, heavy, high damage but slow weapons, and you have Pace Strikes and you're able to stay together, they're gonna get 10% increased attack speed for 6 seconds right along with you. I've used this many times. I like this one. But like I said, for the purposes of this build, the one-shot Chaos Warrior build, I want as much power as I can get. So now we've really kind of covered the offensive side of this build. Let's talk about a little defense. I like to use Blade Barrier. Reduces damage taken by 25% when Pace Strikes is active. So, when you have Pace Strikes going, you not only get 10% increased attack speed, you not only get 15% increased power, you get 25% reduced damage just for hitting 3 enemies in a single swing. How awesome is that? I mean, to me, that's a great combination. I love that. Your other options here are Stand Clear, increases dodge range by 20%. No. See, this is one that's completely useless for him. Because you're an Executioner Sword Kruber. You don't need to dodge, you just need to kill things. You might need to dodge to the side every once in a while, but this, I mean, I could just not see this being used like it's just not helpful, you know. And then you've got black market supplies, increases max ammunition by 30%. You know, he's already like. If this is what you want, more power to you. But blade barrier. I mean, come on, blade barrier. This is obviously to me the one to go with because it just makes pace strikes like such an awesome freaking passive. You get all like the three best things ever: damage reduction, attack speed, and power. More damage. I mean, come on. And one of the reasons I advocate for this one is because I like to use Walk It Off. So when he does morale boost, you not only get 25 temporary health, which is also really good on a zealot, by the way, because if you have a low health zealot with the extra healing talent, he's gonna get like 50 health, which is pretty nice. But when you do morale boost, you get the 25 temp health, and all in your allies that are near you, that are in your range, they get 40% reduced damage for 10 seconds. So not only are you keeping your whole team alive, you're keeping yourself alive. When this is active and you have pace strikes going on, you have 65% reduced damage. I mean, come on. That's just awesome. The other options here are ready for action. Reduces cooldown for morale boost by 45%. No longer grants temporary health. To me, this is just not very good. Sure, you'll be able to stagger them more often. His cooldown is a minute 30 on this ability, so you know, pretty much cut that in half. It's going to be what math here? For like 50 seconds, I think. Yeah. No. Yeah, it'd be around 50 seconds. I can't do math. So you still have to wait like a minute just to stagger them? No. It's worth waiting a couple extra fucking seconds and being able to get temp health and damage reduction. Come on. This is the way to go. And then you got one here that's pretty decent. On your feet, mates. Morale boost also revives knockdown enemies. So, you know, if there's like a fucking elf or whatever and she's gone down for the 10th time that day and oh god, gotta save Carillion, but I can't quite get there because I've got a giant chaos patrol bearing down on me. Just use morale boost, they'll pick her right back up as long as you're in range. Of course, you gotta get a little bit close to her, but this is just good if you need a quick revive. You still get the temp health with this one, but you know, I prefer to prevent my allies from being knocked down versus reacting to that. But you know, this one's good too. So for the equipment, like I said, I use the Executioner Sword, crit chance, crit power. That's all you need with this guy. Swift Slaying, of course, he crits so much. You get 20% increased attack speed. When that combines with your pace strikes, it's 30%. I mean, holy crap. Let me just show you real quick what the Executioner Sword can do on a headshot. So a charge attack. That's 20,000 damage right there. I mean, it's a and that's not even with the power buffs and Smiter. Actually, it is with Smiter, sorry. It's not even with the power buffs. You're going to be able to one-shot a Chaos Warrior on Legend. And then for the gun, I use the Repeater handgun. Again, crit chance, crit power. Mirage, definitely really good with this one. You know, if you have a this is pretty much just for like monsters, maybe the occasional special, but you know, this guy's not really a special killer. No big deal if you don't want to use this to kill specials. Really good for bosses though, because you can charge it up and you'll fire like 8 shots right in a row. And Barrage gives you 5%, you know, increased power for every consecutive attack. Stacks it to 5 times. So you know, as you shoot, you'll do more damage. It's pretty good. I like this gun for him. And then for the necklace, 20% health, 30% block cost reduction. I think this is a smart move for this guy. The 20% health will give him 150 health, making him, fairly tankable. Block cost reduction, really good for the Executioner sword because you only have 3 stamina. But it's good because you're not really going to be pushing with an Executioner sword. It's just kind of, this one is kind of slow. It's a bit slow, so you're not really going to be pushing too much. But if you need to block, having a little bit of block cost reduction, really good. Being able to like pick an enemy up or pick an ally up that's fallen down, a little block cost reduction, you won't get knocked off right away. And then Bark Skin with this guy, I think, is a no-brainer because with this build, he's already got 65% reduced damage. And if you take 2 hits during those, you've got 40% more reduced damage, which, I don't even know if I've had all these happen at the same time, but I would guess you would take no damage because you'd have 105% reduced damage. Yeah, you'd have 105% reduced damage with this. So I don't even know if you'd take damage. It lasts for 2 seconds, of course. So it just makes him a tank. Okay, when all these things happen, makes him a tank. And then the charm, power versus chaos, attack speed. I think this is smart because the Executioner sword is a little slow. Get a little attack speed on there. And power versus chaos, just more damage to Chaos Warriors, to the Chaos faction, the higher health faction, the Beastmen as well. They're chaos, so they get increased damage from this. And then I know it's a minute 30, but I use concoction. You can use decanter as well if you want. I'm very used to concoction, so it's just kind of something I prefer to have on this guy. Even though it doesn't take his cooldown all the way down, you still get like a bunch of speed, you get a bunch of freaking damage, and all this stuff. It doesn't last very long, but it's good, and it'll take your cooldown. It'll take a minute off your cooldown, so you can use that or decanter. I think are good options there. And then of course, the trinket, curse resistance, more crit chance, shrapnel. Shrapnel is probably one of the more underrated traits, talents, whatever you want to call them, in the game. And here's why. Not only are they really good for patrols, they're really good for bosses too. Like, if you can coordinate with a squad, you can take a grenade, say I'm gonna nade first, or I got shrapnel, let me nade first, throw the grenade, you can hit the fucking monster, and then a shade or whatever can come up, do her special, a mercenary Kruber can do his special, a bounty hunter can do his thing, and they'll do 20% more damage to that guy. That's pretty significant. You want curse resistance for the Grims, of course, unless you're doing Cataclysm, which I don't recommend unless you like being destroyed. But yeah, overall this is a crit-based build designed to one-shot high health enemies with headshots, and I think it's super useful. Keeps his team alive, does a lot of damage. This is a good character. Try this build out.